The marketplace on Station Kepler 442 hummed with the usual cacophony of alien commerce. Vendors from a dozen species hawked their wares beneath the station's artificial sky, while translators buzzed with overlapping conversations in languages that predated human spaceflight by millennia. Luke Martinez, barely 17 standard years old, clutched his datapad tighter as he navigated through the crowd. His first solo supply run for his family's freight business should have been routine. Pick up the bioseals, grab some ration packs, and head back to the docking bay. Simple hit. Didn't notice the 3 Vacros enforcers following him until it was too late. The alley between the spice vendor and the gravity generator shop seemed like a shortcut. Luke realized his mistake the moment the shadows deepened around him. The Vacros, reptilian bipeds with iridescent scales and a reputation for extortion, blocked both exits with practiced efficiency. Human juvenile, the lead enforcer hissed, his translator making the words sound oily and threatening. You carry items not properly taxed. Station regulations require inspection. Luke's heart hammered. Everyone knew the Vacros didn't work for station security. They were a gang, pure and simple, preying on lone travelers. His hand moved instinctively to his comlink, but the enforcer's tail whipped out, knocking it from his grasp. No communications. Another Vacros growled. Empty pockets. Now, that's when Alexei Chen stepped into the alley. She wasn't imposing, barely 5'3", with her dark hair pulled back in a practical bun. Her maintenance coveralls were stained with grease, and she carried a small cage under one arm. But something in the way she moved made the Vacros pause. "The kid's with me," Alexei said calmly, her voice carrying despite its softness. The lead enforcer laughed, a sound like grinding stone. "Human, female, walk away. That's not your concern, can't do that." Alexei set the cage down gently. Through the mesh, Luke could see something small and dark moving inside. "See, I promised his mother I'd keep an eye on him, and I keep my promises. 3 of us. One of you." The enforcer's scales rippled with amusement. "Mathematics simple." Alexei smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Math's never been my strong suit anyway." She knelt beside the cage. "But I do know a thing or two about biology." The Vacros advanced, their confidence absolute. They outmassed any human. Their scales could deflect most hand weapons, and station regulations prohibited firearms in civilian areas. They had every advantage. Alexei opened the cage. What emerged looked deceptively small, a creature about the size of a large cat, with black and white markings and a stocky build. It moved with an odd rolling gait as it positioned itself between Alexei and the Vacros. "Is that?" the lead enforcer asked, his certainty wavering. "Melivora capensis," Alexei replied. "Earth designation, honey badger. Meet Thor." The honey badger made a sound something between a growl and a cough. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic, but every Vacros froze instantly. "Impossible," one of them whispered. "The humans brought one of those into space." Luke stared at the small animal, confused. It looked almost cute, in a scrappy sort of way. Why were 3 armed enforcers backing away from something his little sister could probably carry? "I see you've heard the stories," Alexei said conversationally, though her stance remained coiled and ready. "Good, then you know that pound for pound, there's no more fearless predator on Earth. They fight lions. They raid beehives and shrug off thousands of stings. They've been documented taking on Cape Buffalo and winning." Thor scratched behind his ear with a hind leg, the casual gesture somehow menacing. "Their skin is so tough that arrows bounce off. Bee stings don't penetrate it. Their metabolism can process venom that would kill a human in minutes." Alexei's voice remained pleasant, almost friendly. "And when threatened, they go for the most vulnerable areas of their opponent." "Tell me, do the Vacros have any vulnerable areas?" The lead enforcer's tail tucked instinctively. Every species in the galaxy knew their own weak points, knew that Terran fauna had evolved in an environment so hostile that even its smallest predators were nightmares. "The regulations," one Vacro stammered. "Dangerous fauna must be caged." "He is caged," Alexei interrupted. "Or he was, but you boys were threatening a human kid. That makes Thor here ... concerned, and when honey badgers get concerned, they get aggressive. They don't care about size. They don't care about numbers. They just don't care." Thor took 2 steps forward. His claws clicked against the station's metal floor. The Vacros broke. They scrambled backward, nearly trampling each other in their haste to exit the alley. Within seconds, the space was empty except for Alexei, Luke, and the small black and white predator now sitting calmly at Alexei's feet. Luke finally found his voice. What just happened?" Alexei picked up Thor, who immediately became docile in her arms, accepting scratches behind his ears. Lesson 1 in Galactic Relations. Kid, humans earned our place in space because Earth is a death. Most aliens evolved on planets where the biggest threat was maybe a territorial herbivore or a small venomous insect. She handed Luke his comlink, which she'd somehow retrieved. We evolved alongside creatures that would give most aliens nightmares. Predators that hunt in packs, parasites that can hijack nervous systems, microorganisms that can kill in hours. The galaxy learned real quick that even our pets are descended from apex predators. But Thor's so small, Luke protested. Size isn't everything, Alexei grinned. That's another human advantage, we understand that principle. Our ancestors survived not because we were the biggest or the strongest, but because we were smart, adaptable, and absolutely too stubborn to quit. Traits we share with this little guy. Thor made another coughing sound, almost smug. Now come on, Alexei said, leading Luke back toward the main marketplace. Let's get your supplies and head back. And next time someone tries to shake you down, just mention you're friends with the honey badger lady. Word gets around fast on stations like this. As they walked, Luke noticed something he'd missed before, other aliens giving them a wide berth, their eyes tracking not him, but the small animal perched contentedly on Alexei's shoulder. Humanity hadn't conquered the stars through superior technology or overwhelming force. They'd done it by bringing a piece of Earth with them and reminding the galaxy that on a planet where even the smallest creatures were battle-hardened survivors, the apex species had earned their place the hard way. Thor yawned, displaying impressive teeth, and the crowd parted a little wider. Luke smiled. Maybe there was more to being human than he'd thought.